That's right.
Yeah.
In the turns, it's really good perspective. So I liked it, but that's not my call.
Okay.
I'm a fan of Phil's. One of the biggest reasons is watching that club series that they do every week for the club life. And I think when we talk about how to grow the sport, F1 did their series, Survive to Drive, the last 4 years, and that helped me become a huge F1 fan. I think it would help if we got to know the riders better.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a series kind of just mirror what F1 did and what Club Life is doing. And that's one of the reasons I'm a big Phil fan, because, I've been a fan for a long time, and I was one of the guys that kind of thought, Phil's personality, not so sure, but then you get to know him on the series, and he's a great dude, so you're cheering for him.
Right.
So I just want his perspective on kind of that series and doing that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's great. To make it our sport like Drive to Survive, I think that needs to be a full-fledged entertainment MX Sports. Everyone needs to come together and make that actually work, because I think it'd be pretty badass, because I think our sport has a ton of stories to be able to tell through injuries and way everybody's brought up as kids and whatnot. I really think it could really could take off, but I don't know if people are willing to come together like that and sign off or even get capital to be able to pull something like that off. But I mean, for us in club life, like, it's a really cool thing, but it's also an expensive thing, because you got to, fly the filmer and do all the things and stuff like that. But it's a good way to, and even for me, like, everyone sees the races and stuff like that, and the riding footage. But honestly, it basically comes down to all the camaraderie, at the semi and even at the practice tracks and stuff. Like, dude, it's between me, Garrett, and Jerma, and even the mechanics, like, everyone's kind of like family, even though we kind of hate each other most of the time. But it just shows people what really goes on. I wish we had a little bit more of that, and I wish we were able to showcase it more.
Yeah, I mean, Red Bull, they followed the Lawrence brothers. They did the Supercross Spy thing, but then the Monster athletes couldn't go in it, and vice versa. Red Bull guys aren't doing any Monster videos, and it's politics, and exactly what Phil said. It's got to be by Feld, and they've got to have a budget,
Yeah.
Right. F1 started doing theirs.
I mean, look at F1. The first season, Mercedes said no, and Red Bull said no, and then the second season they're like, "Oh, wait, it's really good. We want in," and that's what has to happen,
Yeah.
But it grew the fan base.
It did,
even as popular as F1 was, and I'm one of the guys that watches every race now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the drivers, you get to know them.
Yeah,
you get to know the teams, and you're vested in it.
I mean, Bill, don't you feel like I've given Phil this platform for years now to gain an audience share?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, of course. But
and I will
F1 series is kind of a great mirror, and Club Life kind of does that for their team. But if we did it for all the teams, get to know the teams, the riders, I just think that'd be a good way to help what we've talked about for 40 years. How do we grow the sport?
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for the call, man. Thank you.
I think he touched a great thing on it, though. But I think it's what our team does, and I think it's cool, and I enjoy that. But we need to be able to grow the sport to where the teams get a cut, the riders get a cut, where it can go on Netflix. Tour de France has the same thing now, where they
tennis has one too now. Yeah.
Golf.
Who does?
Tennis has one.
and golf.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, and I just think it's a whole other way to activate the sport, and it's on a massive platform, and I think that's how you get it to take off. But until everyone comes together and everyone gets smart and unites, it'll never happen. But like I said, 25 years ago, would you have thought Supercross and motocross would have combined?
Nope. No, they hated each other. We used to have Ralph at Vegas saying, "See everybody at Anaheim."
Yep. So it's a cool thing. I remember last year this time I walked into a little restaurant in Crawfordsville, Indiana. Kenneth Feld, Kerry Coombs, Davey Coombs, Prater, all those guys were in a little restaurant, and they were having a meeting to combine their thing and whatever. Obviously, it was way down the road, but that's kind of how it starts. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully, 10 years from now, it changes the game.
Off-Road Warehouse, bringing you Phil Nicoletti on the show. ORW, Pulp MX code to save.
Hey, so Phil, I mean, you've been at club the last few years, right? And in the summertime, do you do a lot of motos with like the amateur kids and people like that, or do you do just strictly with the pro guys?